Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rines Report. This is your host, Tristan Blake Rines, and we have quite a few topics to get through today. I'll be joined by last week's first guest, Donovan Vattelana, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it right this time. At 11 a.m., Terrance Schoefield will be joining me. Unfortunately, Nick will not be joining us this week as he is sick, but we are sending him well wishes. So we're going to, of course, be talking about the DeMarcus Cousins trade a little bit later, Magic Johnson becoming the new Los Angeles Lakers head of basketball operations, Nerlens Noel to the Mavericks, a couple of players to watch at the NFL Combine, the upcoming free agents to keep an eye on, and finally the NFC West Offseason Needs. But we're going to start with the NFC West Offseason Needs. So, Donovan, what are you thinking for the 49ers?
Oh, man. Well, the 49ers, they definitely need a quarterback. There's no other way. I think Blaine Gabbert, Colin Kaepernick is probably going to opt out of whatever contract he's in.
He's said that he's going to opt out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and then I think their third string, I can't remember who it is off the top of my head.
They're going into this next season. Well, that was Thaddeus Lewis. They're going into this next season without a single quarterback.
Wow. Yeah.
None of the quarterbacks are going to be returning because Gabbert's hitting free agency, Kaepernick's declared for free agency, and Thaddeus Lewis was on a 1-year contract.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to be chasing after Blaine Gabbert to re-sign him.
No.
But
with Kyle Shanahan assuming the head coaching position and new coordinators all over the place, they need to go get a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Shanahan could take quarterbacks and make them. Well, we've seen him. Matt Ryan. He was Kirk Cousins' offensive coordinator for a little bit too.
Yeah.
He makes some really effective quarterbacks.
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, you can't argue with his production, but the question is where they're going to get it at, because it's not like the free agents class is overwhelming.
You mean draft class?
Free agent.
Free agent. Well, no, free agency besides Kirk Cousins? Nah, there's nobody. Off-season wise, you can go out and get people.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can put a Band-Aid on it, but the question is, do they want to build the rest of their team, which definitely they have to focus on a lot of positions at this point, or do they want to try to go with a player like, and we're always talking about Deshaun Watson, stuff like that. I mean, basically, they're in a very similar position to the Browns, not just as far as record goes, but as far as what their needs are.
Yeah.
I mean, you can throw a dartboard at a bunch of positions, and they probably need it.
They probably do. The top three quarterback. The top three positions I have them needing are quarterback, of course, corner, which has been a festering problem with them for a while. I think their secondary, besides Antoine Bethea, has been pretty subpar. Well, Eric Reed, their safeties.
I'll say Eric Reed is pretty good.
Yeah, their safeties have been good, but their corner play hasn't been.
Oh, yeah.
So, your safeties can only do but so much. In today's NFL, a lot of safeties, bigger safeties, end up playing, slash linebacker.
Yeah, that's like
Deion Buchanan or Cam Chancellor sometimes, too. Earl Thomas is a good hitter for his size as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for safeties, you obviously, the harder the hit, the better, but it's all about the style I guess you want to run, especially with the new coach and new GM. Especially since I think John Lynch he's never had a position.
No, he went straight from playing to being an analyst, and now he got a 6-year contract with the 49ers.
Wow, that's crazy. They would give somebody. I mean, I guess you have to at that point, but I don't know.
They also gave. I'm pretty sure they gave Shanahan a 6-year, so they're investing in what they're going to be having. Coordinators might move around here and there. From what I read, the coordinators they have, some of them have never really had that kind of position before. So you can look to see through this season to next season, there's going to be a big learning curve for these guys.
Yeah.
Because Lynch has never been a GM before. I'm sure he knows people, has ideas, stuff like that. But it's a matter of it's going to be a big learning year for the 49ers.
Oh yes, I mean definitely they have to be patient. That's definite because. At this point, you just have to stop the bleeding because they've had 4 coaches in the past 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, they've had quite a few. For quarterbacks to try to start off with their offense, I think they could possibly because there's been murmurs here and there about where of course Romo will go, but I don't think he's going to San Francisco. I think he's in a win mode now. He wants to go to a team that he can win a championship with.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Romo out of the conversation for San Francisco. And I think the wise thing for them is, even as heavy of a quarterback draft class as this is, there's a lot of potential for quarterbacks. I don't think you go out and you draft a quarterback to be your starter.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson isn't if need be. I think it's a last, resort for them to go out and get a quarterback in the draft.
Especially
like
the
Watson.
number 2 pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would take him at the number 2 pick.
Maybe trying to remember his name. Trubisky from UNC or Kaiser from Notre Dame, maybe.
Yeah.
Because they have both of them ranked above Watson. But I think a lot of people are targeting and talking about Watson, even myself, because there's such a high ceiling.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, there's also...
Because he's also been in the national spotlight for the last, couple of years, been in championship games. Trubisky and Kaiser, until this upcoming offseason, personally, as a guy who follows most of the NFL, and then when it comes to draft time, I started looking at the prospects.
Yeah.
I had no idea who these guys were.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that they are definitely in a position where they need young players. But I'm not sure if this draft class is where they go for the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said,
at least not in the first round.
Definitely not in the first round for them. I mean, the Browns maybe because they have multiple picks in the first round.
Mm-hmm. Well, because they could go 1 to 12 if need be.
Yeah, exactly. But the 49ers, I believe they only have one pick in the first round.
Yeah, number 2.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would go ahead and use that on a quarterback. When you can just kind of, I guess, push it off till next year, basically, and kind of just...
If you wanted to build your team around the future quarterback coming in, that can make sense. I feel like Kyle Shanahan is going to be really frustrated without a quarterback that has,
Oh, he's going to be frustrated regardless.
I mean, he's going to be frustrated regardless, but I think having a quarterback to at least, help you win a few games is going to make the difference for him, morale-wise, because you don't want to walk into next season like, oh, man, we were complete garbage, you know what I mean, last year.
Oh, yeah, I mean, nobody wants a bad quarterback. I mean...
Nobody wants a bad team.
Oh,
overall.
Well, I mean, the 6-year contract does help, though.
Exactly, yeah. But in the NFL, there's only but so much assurance that you're going to be at anywhere for any given time.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, take every opportunity as much as you get. You want to win now. I think most coaches do. But at this part, you wouldn't accept the job if you didn't understand the process that comes along with it.
I think... I have a few options outside of the draft besides Deshaun Watson, the draft quarterbacks, Kaiser, Trubisky, going to San Francisco. Because the way before I get to the offseason ones, really, or free agency, so to speak, or trades, what makes sense to me, and the way the NFL is starting to go now, is that if you bring in a young quarterback, we even saw this with Jared Goff last year, you're going to start a veteran before you start him.
Oh, yeah.
Because you want him to get a little more adapted to how the NFL works. And we saw some guys, sometimes it works out really well. Like Carson Wentz last season played really well, trial by fire, in the regular season.
Yeah. I mean, his numbers were a little inflated the first couple of the games, but he did a pretty good job for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Dak Prescott as well.
Oh, I mean, Dak Prescott.
Marvelous. One of the best rookie seasons ever.
Yeah.
So for me, I think you go out and get a veteran. I don't think you try to settle for whoever hits the market. Like Josh McCown's hitting the market, so that's a potential if you need to.
That's kind of his job at this point.
Yeah, is to go and mentor if need be, and then just go somewhere else. The guy's played for a number of organizations now.
I mean, credit to him. I mean, he's still making his money.
Yeah, he's stuck around the league for quite a long time now. For guys, I could see them acquiring outside of the draft. Jay Cutler has been talked about going through, trades. The Chicago really wants to get his contract out of there. I feel like that's the biggest problem they have. And if there's any organization that'd be willing to take Cutler and be able to afford it, but I think the thing that comes with trading Cutler is that the team that's going to be acquiring him is going to want him to take a pay cut, regardless.
Yeah.
So I think San Francisco makes sense for Cutler. Shanahan can take quarterbacks, like we've said, and then make them, play very well. Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, of course. Cousins has the potential to hit free agency. He doesn't want to play under franchise tag, I'm sure, but I don't really see him leaving Washington.
Yeah, Washington's not going to let him go one way or another. I think they're going to do their best to keep him. I mean, I wouldn't say he's top 5 quarterbacks, but
he's a definite starter.
I mean, no, definitely. I mean, I'd say he's definitely top 10, and you don't want to let one of those guys walk away that easily. You got to try to do your best to keep him, whether that be through force like the franchise tag or just incentives through the huge contract.
Yeah. When it comes to Kirk Cousins too, if he does hit free agency, everybody's going to be gunning for him. There's plenty of teams out there that actually need quarterbacks. San Francisco, of course, still being one of them. The thing is, if you get Cousins, whoever is still gunning for quarterbacks is probably going to look at the draft. This is still a big if Cousins even hits free agency. Because once it goes from Kirk Cousins, the drop-off is huge to the next quarterback in free agency.
Tony Romo probably has a couple of good years left in him,
possibly. Well, technically, he isn't going to be a free agent.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dallas won't release him on the contract because they'll still have to pay him a ton of money. They want to trade him out.
Is that what they've said?
That's what they're going to have to do if they want to not pay him.
Yeah.
Because if you keep him on the team, of course, you're paying him a certain amount of money to stay on the team. Because he won't start at this point because Prescott just took that job basically.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I no offense to Tony
Romo. And Romo, I'm sure wants a deal as much as the media is saying as well. I'm sure he wants to go to a team. Like I feel like fits for him would be Houston. Cleveland we talked about, but he wants to go somewhere where he can win. I'm thinking personally, I feel like Denver is the best place for him, even though he probably doesn't want to go somewhere cold.
Yeah, probably. I mean, going from that Texas weather to the Mile High Stadium is probably going to be a toll on his body.
But you do bring in, if you have Tony Romo, you have a top 5 defense for the past couple of years. Has been a really, really effective defense. Has gotten you to a championship and won it.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much. Houston had the number 1 defense last season, so those are my 2 right there.
Yeah, I can easily see that. I mean, the 49ers and the Browns are just not the places to go if you're a quarterback. I mean, no offense to those teams, but they just seem like they're snake bit at this
right
point.
Now, it's going to take time. If you're a veteran quarterback looking to win like Tony Romo is, he doesn't want to go to those kind of places.
Yeah, you're not going to go to a rebuilding team with your last years on you.
Yeah, and I feel like the only reason Jay Cutler makes sense is because he wants to go somewhere and probably prove that he can still play the position well.
Exactly. I mean, if it turns out well for him, then it turns out well for both him and the organization he goes to.
Exactly.
But he has to, and it's not like he doesn't have the talent. I mean...
Yeah, we've seen that he can play, but it's a matter of him being consistent and then actually feeling he has the effort to play.
Yeah, right. It's like it's kind of strange to see him just so apathetic on the sideline, like they'd be down, 20 points, and he'll just
nonchalant about it.
Oh, Will,
it's a game. Because like if you bring a quarterback in, you want him to have drive.
Yeah. You want to have you see some fire in him. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, especially I don't know if him playing for his meal ticket basically is gonna cause him to get that fire. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What is going to cause him to get that, but...
Because if you're a quarterback, if you're a player in the NFL at all, you want to prove that you could play.
Yeah.
That's the whole drive of getting to the NFL. Like a lot of these college players, like guys that come out of nowhere you never expect it. It's because they want to play. They want to prove that they can
See,
win.
they're hungry for it. And I think he lost that sometime when he was in Chicago, probably the past 3 years. And maybe it's because the change of scenery is... the scenery itself is not what he wants, but... Maybe a change of scenery would help him. Mm-hmm. But, like I said, that's up to him at this point.
And outside of Cutler, I feel like if they really, really wanted to, because New England's not taking anything less for Garoppolo than a first-round pick. If you want to give the number 2 overall pick for Jimmy Garoppolo...
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't...
That's the thing. It's like, do you want to invest that much into a quarterback that... We've seen him play throughout the last few seasons. He's had a little bit of time regular season wise. Preseason he looks pretty good. Even though preseason a lot of guys don't really take that seriously. At least if you know you're going to be on the team, they don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like Garoppolo's worth a first round pick. I don't know if he's worth a number 2 pick.
Oh,
because we've seen teams get high over guys like Brock Osweiler and then it end up being awful.
Yeah, I mean if you look at Matt Castle going to the Chiefs, I mean...
Well, he had a good season. His first year with the Chiefs, he had a couple good years.
Yeah, but is that worth the number 2 pick?
No. The potential of him... The thing is, everybody thought Matt Castle was going to be a really good quarterback, too, at the time. Yeah. And then at some point, he's dropped off, which nobody saw. Because he did have an effective season. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback outside of New England.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, when he played for the Patriots and then his first year with the Chiefs, he definitely showed that he could play. But then I'm not 100% sure what happened.
Yeah. It just, at some point, just dropped off, and then he ended up being a backup somewhere else.
Which makes you concerned about getting fleeced for Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. I mean, I like him personally, but I wouldn't use a first-round pick to trade for him. I wouldn't. Second round is fair game for me.
Me, if I'm a GM, I'm not pick. If I have a top 5 pick and I need a quarterback, I don't know if I'm giving away a top 5 pick. That's just me. Because Garoppolo, the last season we saw him play 3 games. And in those 2 game, was it? It was he got hurt playing Miami, but we've seen him play, and when he steps on the field, he has a confidence like an Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah. He definitely has a swagger about him. And that's good. That's the opposite.
You see he's hungry.
Yeah, exactly. It's the opposite.
And that's the thing too is even though I'm a Patriots fan, I think that it's a good deal. I think it works out for both sides giving up Garoppolo to wherever he goes because we get a first round pick. We're not taking anything less than that. And then Garoppolo goes somewhere that he will start.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
The question is finding somebody that will give up a first round for Garoppolo.
And the idea around the league is that Cleveland would do it at number 12 because he's not a top 5, not even a top 10 pick, but a number 12 gets the Patriots an effective player that's not right at the tail end of the draft.
But the question is who wants to give the people that just won a Super Bowl the 12th pick in the draft? You know, that's is this his last year on his contract?
This season, no, he won't be a free agent. But next year, yeah, well, he'll be a free agent next year.
Gotcha. I mean, it makes you wonder what New England's going to try to get for him. I don't know if they're going to get a first round pick for him. And then you think about it, are they going to get anything for him if they don't try to get rid of him? Because they're not going to pay him a lot of money to be a backup, and he's going to want to be a starter. I mean, who doesn't? So.
Because there's only but so long you can sit behind Brady before you're like, hey, I thought I was going to get this, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that was the whole idea of him being drafted. It was like he was going to be the guy in the, like, you know, within 5 years that was going to take over for Brady. But then Brady was like, I'm going to be 40 years old next season. Like now he's going to be 40 years old coming off of winning Super Bowl 51 and is playing in the top 3 quarterbacks in the entire league.
And since he's going to play till he's 60, I don't think Garoppolo really has a huge future in New England other than
being the backup.
To get traded, basically. Yeah,
because you want to have time to solidify and build a legacy for yourself if need be too.
Oh,
which is why guys want to start as soon as possible. In the NFL today, it's like, hey, wait a couple seasons, then you can start. Garoppolo's waited about 4 years now. Yeah. I think it's time to see if he can lead a franchise. Personally, because wherever he goes, I'm probably going to support the guy, unless it's the Jets, which we would never trade Jimmy Garoppolo to the New York Jets. If he goes anywhere else in the league, I'll support Jimmy Garoppolo because I want to see him do good things.
I mean that's the best mentality to have as a fan. You want to like your players even if they go on to different, unless they go to the Redskins,
or unless you're a Brett Favre fan and he goes to the Vikings, then that's acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. If division rivals come into play,
or if it's Donovan McNabb and he goes to the Washington Redskins.
Well, I'm thinking Deshaun Jackson or Terrell Owens. Yeah.
Well, Deshaun might be coming back.
Well, see, that would be the redeeming moment for me because we need a wide receiver. Yeah,
I'm honestly. Well, I might get into it a little bit later, but I'll talk to you real quick about it. I have a feeling that Alshon Jeffrey goes to Philadelphia because he's hitting free agency.
I mean, that's exciting. I like the prospect of that.
Yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz is having a little bit of say in like who he wants on the offense going into this season. So I think if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you go get Alshon Jeffrey.
Oh yeah,
he's a definite number 1 receiver.
Oh yeah, I mean. Yeah, I think on top of having him and the guy we got, Darrell Green-Beckham, I think.
Darrell Green-Beckham, yeah, from Tennessee last season.
Yeah, I think both of them would be a really potent combo together.
Mm-hmm. Kind of reminds you of a faster-paced version of what Tampa Bay has. Because Mike Evans is a beast receiver.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he had the most touchdowns this year at receiver, or something like that. He had a ton of catches. I know he was up there in fantasy because I was getting torched by him.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. He torched me a couple weeks in a row. It was a small league, but
yeah,
if you're Philadelphia, you go out and get a receiver. If it's Deshaun Jackson, the thing is Deshaun Jackson, it's been a few years. I think I'm not gonna say he's slowed down, but Deshaun Jackson is an over the top receiver that if your corners can keep up with him, then you take him out of the game almost.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean,
he's got good hands, but he's not gonna go up and beat you vertically. He'll beat you with his speed. Mm-hmm. And over the middle, I don't think he wants to go over the middle because those are punishing hits.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen it in the past as an Eagles fan. Like, he ducks from those hits sometimes. Occasionally. And,
yeah, I mean, the dude's... He's pretty small considering NFL sizes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he still is quick, though, so...
Yeah, he's still really quick. I'm not saying that he has no chance to play.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that small guy, a little bit older now, too. Probably not... You guys... If the Philadelphia Eagles were to pick him up, they wouldn't have to pay a ton. to get him. I don't think.
Oh no. Especially if he wants to come back to us, then I think that would be mutually beneficial for both of us. But yeah, I mean, we probably stop talking about the Eagles. We got to focus on the NFC West.
Yeah, and moving on from quarterback, since that's what we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes. The 49ers, they also need a corner. A.J. Boye from Houston is going to be hitting free agency if he doesn't get tagged. He had a really, really good season. Other guys to mention, Logan Ryan out of New England was a solid corner all year.
Yeah.
And Stephon Gilmore. I've placed him all over the place because I don't really know where to land Stephon Gilmore. So it'll really just be wherever he ends up. I feel like it's the first visit or two that he has with any team. He'll probably end up going there.
Yeah, probably.
Because I think he probably wants out of Buffalo. It's pretty cold up there.
What is it? Tremaine Johnson is also one to watch.
Yeah, and I was about to talk about it here in a second after the pass rushing for San Francisco, because Tremaine Johnson is one of the things that the Rams need to do. They need to re-sign him. Personally.
Oh, yeah, because they let Janoris Jenkins go.
They let Janoris Jenkins go, and he had an amazing season in New York.
Yeah, and you know that has to hurt for them because they have to watch that man be successful. But they can't let the same thing happen to Tremaine Johnson. But if you're one of the other teams in their division, you can add a great piece to your team and also take away from the Rams at the same time. So.
Personally, yeah. So we'll just move on to the Rams now. They have $35 million. Coming up this offseason of cap space. And personally, besides re-signing guys like Tremaine Johnson, they need to re-sign Kenny Britt because he was a really effective receiver this last season.
Yeah.
And the number one overall need that the Rams have right now is, well, besides picking up Aaron Donald's fifth-year option, send the paperwork in multiple times just to make sure he signs it.
Yeah.
Is to build an offensive line around this guy. Because over 10% of the time, Jared Goff was dropping back into the pocket, dropping back to pass. He was getting hit.
Yeah, no, they definitely. It seems like the NFC West really needs offensive linemen.
Yeah,
like for the most
part.
The
Seahawks need offensive linemen.
Oh yeah, I mean, pick any position for the Seahawks. They probably need an offensive lineman.
Yeah, the Rams. I had a couple guys in mind. Russell Okung just hit free agency as well. You could probably get him for an affordable price. The Broncos released him after a pretty subpar season, but if you go to the LA Rams, they need a left tackle. All over the board, of course, they kind of need offensive linemen. Outside of Russell Okung, I think you bring in a veteran guard to show him the ropes a little bit, and I think the perfect fit for that would be Jari Evans.
Yeah, I think Jari Evans would be a good spot to.
Because he was an All-Pro lineman for a few years there with the New Orleans, and guys like Greg Robinson, he's been in the league for about 4 or 5 years almost now. And his ceiling still is high. Like, he has the potential to be a really good lineman, really big run blocking lineman. Has huge size. He reminds me of, like, if you look at Jari Evans and you look at Greg Robinson, you can almost see, similarities in the sense of, like, these guys are big guys in the block. Jari Evans comes in, you mentor Greg Robinson.
Oh yeah, but how much do you pay for him is the question.
You can get him for cheap. I'm pretty sure you can. He's not the same player he was.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He still can start. He's an effective lineman, but you bring him in to teach Greg Robinson at the left guard position.
Well, right now it's supply and demand, and offensive linemen are in high demand.
Yeah, guys
good offensive linemen.
Yeah, and then there's also guys like Kevin Zeitler who will be hitting free agency from Cincinnati.
Really?
TJ Lang's hitting free agency. Those are two really good guards that can come in and take a spot on that offensive line as well if you're willing to pay them enough.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the top two offensive linemen that I can think of right now that are hitting free agency that aren't super, that aren't veteran like older guys in the league. Like Andrew Whitworth is supposed to hit free agency at left tackle, but I really see Cincinnati re-signing him on like a 1 or 2 year.
Yeah, I think they'd be foolish not to.
He doesn't allow sacks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
The last 2 seasons, I think Andy Dalton has been hit on the left side once.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you can immediately correlate a lot of success with quarterbacks. Well, not all the time, but with a good offensive line. I mean, that's where a lot of the game is won, is in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of these teams, especially with all the demand out there, they might have to overpay some of these players. Unfortunately for them, but a lot of the veterans for these teams that are basically becoming free agents, they're going to have to basically pay for something that's past its prime, but still valuable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many seasons a lot of these guys have left in them, but they still definitely need to fill the holes that they have, especially if you're talking about protecting quarterbacks like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Jared Goff's your number 1 overall pick.
Oh yeah, you can't do the number 1 overall pick like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because the difference between Goff and Wentz's rookie seasons, and you can throw Prescott in there for obvious reasons too, is the offensive lineman. I really feel like, because Goff had no offensive lineman, couldn't win a lot of games because of it. He has the potential to be good, which is why he's a number 1 overall pick. But Wentz had a good first few weeks. The offensive line held up for him. This next season they get Lane Johnson back. Jason Peters will be back for at least one more season at left tackle. The interior linemen coming back off of a few injuries here and there too, so they're going to be getting better. And the Cowboys are the best offensive line in football.
Oh yeah, I mean you can immediately see the success that Dak Prescott had. I mean, just imagine if he was running around like Jared Goff had to, then
it takes a certain level of skill, obviously, to win games playing quarterback, no matter what, because you can't throw anybody in at quarterback and then expect to be successful with the Cowboys. You could throw almost anybody in at running back though. That's how I feel. And he could be successful. Right. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott's an awesome running back. He's really good in space. But if he ain't getting past that offensive line, like if you throw him on an offensive line like
Seattle,
Seattle, he probably doesn't have an 1,800-yard season.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are unless you're Barry Sanders. Your offensive line is a definite plus for you. I mean, or if it's bad like Seattle, it's going to take away from you. I mean, look, they had the highest paid offensive line when they won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Then they took a bunch of cuts.
Yeah, Russell Okung left after their second Super Bowl. They had a few guys. They had guys leave to the Jets.
And they traded
Richardson,
one of their offensive linemen, for Jimmy Graham.
Yeah,
to the Saints.
Max Unger.
Yeah, Unger. And then
he was really good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they had a great offensive line, and granted, they had a really good running back in Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch he's gonna be a Hall of Famer. He was a beast.
Oh yeah, beast mode. Yeah, exactly.
But he can only do it so much. Like when he was at Buffalo, they didn't have a stellar offensive line either, and he had some good seasons, but he got beat up by Fred Jackson.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Then you go into Seattle and have it playing tremendous. So your offensive line makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You build teams like that's where you start. Like I've talked about this a few times before. I think before you came on the show, but it's an analogy in a sense that I really like. Where it's like, if you build your football team like you're baking a cake, your offensive lineman, your head coach, your quarterback are the actual foundation and the actual makings of the actual cake. And then, your accessories, like your icing, are your receivers and your tight ends and some maybe a little
exactly.
bit, just little things like that. But you build around key components.
Yeah, exactly. The wide receivers are the icing in this scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely going to make.
And receivers don't like being called the icing, but I mean, it makes sense to me.
I mean, they're flashy. They're
flashy. If you give a little kid a cupcake, they're gonna want to eat it because of the icing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just what I've seen. I'm not saying that cake is good or bad. There's bad cake. If the Rams were a cake, it'd be a bad cake with some nice icing.
Be a very bad cake.
With some nice icing, but it'd be a bad cake.
Hey, look, I haven't had breakfast yet, so we gotta stop talking about this cake. I'm getting pretty hungry.
Yeah, me too. So we'll move on to the Arizona Cardinals now, and I feel like the biggest thing they need to do is re-sign Chandler Jones.
Oh yeah, or franchise tag him.
You can, yeah. He ended up putting 11 sacks up, and then set up a lot for Marcus Golden, who led that division with 12.5 sacks.
Yeah.
So you really do need to re-sign Chandler Jones. As a Patriots fan, I like the fact that he had a good season because I love Chandler Jones.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I thought they were crazy for getting rid of him, but
it didn't slow him down.
Yeah. But I mean, Chandler Jones is a definite plus for them. I mean, he complements Golden really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think together they're really.
He can play. He can play down as a defensive end. He can also play linebacker if need be outside.
Yeah, I mean the versatility is something that's worth its weight in gold.
Exactly. In time, I think it's. This is something I was thinking about last night. I think it's time for them to invest in a quarterback that's not Carson Palmer.
Oh, yeah, because what is he, like 37?
He's getting up there in age. I think you draft a quarterback high. I'm not saying a first-round pick, although the guys who are going to be in the first round, a lot of potential. I feel like if you need to, make a move, go up a couple picks, try to steal Deshaun Watson away from the Cleveland Browns at 12. Because they're right behind them. They're at 13. So, for some reason, if the Browns were to pass up on Watson, I feel like you can't not take him.
Yeah. I mean, all you got to do is strip 2 spots.
Yeah, exactly. Because think about this. If you're a first-round quarterback, the Arizona Cardinals are coming off a bad season. It's easy to tell. It sucks, but they came off a really bad season for them. Because I had them as a Super Bowl contender.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody did.
I mean, especially, like, leading up to the first week, I thought that they were going to.
They were almost favorites in the NFC.
In fact, I think that was my pick to make the NFC Championship game was the Cardinals and then the Cowboys, or not the Cowboys, the Giants actually.
Yeah,
the Giants surprisingly.
That could make sense if you look at it from last season. But nobody saw the Cowboys being as successful as they were.
Oh, yeah, nobody did.
Make that very simple.
I even feel bad for even letting that slip out of my mouth. I never thought that they would even come close to the NFC Championship.
But I feel like it's a good idea for them to invest in a quarterback 2 for the time being. Because you can learn on Carson Palmer. The team around him is awesome. Here's the thing about it. The defense is stacked.
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald wants to keep playing for a few more years. I'm sure he'll retire.
Yeah, he's the golden child.
But you have David Johnson at your running back position right behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Who can do it all. I feel like if not this last season, then this season will be the year that he leapfrogs Le'Veon Bell and solidifies himself as the best running back in football.
Wow. That's a huge pick right there.
It's a bold claim, I know. But David Johnson is the man. If I'm building a team around a running back, considering off the field too, I'm taking David Johnson.
Yeah,
number 1.
I mean, David Johnson. Well, I don't know, man. Ezekiel Elliott.
I don't want to invest in Ezekiel Elliott if I'm a franchise guy, just because if you take him outside of that offensive line, how good is he?
Yeah, I mean that's the question. It's like, if you take Tom Brady out of the system, is he the same quarterback? And
yeah.
I believe he is, and I think the same thing for I don't maybe not as great as he was his rookie season, but I think his potential is
I'm not saying Ezekiel Elliott is a garbage running back without that offensive line because he's really good. I like Ezekiel Elliott. I have no problem with Ezekiel Elliott. I just don't think he leads the league in rushing his first season without the Cowboys' offensive line.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but it's so tough to take that away from him. Like, I mean, it's if he wasn't behind that offensive line, I still feel like he would be the one to watch in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Even if David Johnson's
he's exciting to watch.
Oh, yeah.
But personally, if I'm building a team, I'm building it around David Johnson. That's just me, because
David Johnson.
They're very similar from what I've seen of Zeke. They're very similar in the way that they can both catch out of the backfield. They both block. And they can both run between the tackles, outside the tackles. They're all around really good running backs. That's what you want.
Oh, yeah.
David Johnson, to me, is just a couple more seasons makes a difference to me. Just a couple more. He's still young, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised. I thought he was older than he actually was.
Because if I'm playing Madden, and I'm like, oh, who do you want to pick? Flashy me would be like, of course I'm taking Ezekiel Elliott. But no, like at the end of the day, if I'm thinking about it conservatively, and I'm thinking who's going to be a consistent guy, who's going to get me production, I'm taking David Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of them.
You really can't.
They're both complete, which is very unique in the NFL. Like, I mean, they can receive, they they have amazing rushing skills, they can block.
I will say at this point last year, I was a few months down the road now, I was really surprised that the Cowboys took Ezekiel Elliott that high up.
Yeah, I mean,
because I didn't think they needed him at all. I think that Jalen Ramsey was supposed to be their pick.
Well, only because the running back position, as far as just in general, has been devalued. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at Alfred Morris taken in the 5th round. I mean,
yeah,
he had amazing production for the Redskins the first couple years he was with them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get a good running back later on in the rounds and be fine.
Yeah,
and he'll be productive.
Until Melvin Gordon and Todd Gurley were taken in the first round, it had been like 4, almost 5 years since the first round. There was a running back taken, which is surprising for a while as it was, and then Ezekiel Elliott. But they've all panned out. if it's worth it, it's worth it. And this year is going to have some pretty good running backs taken in the first round too.
Yeah,
Leonard Fournette.
Oh yeah, Leonard Fournette.
Dalvin Cook. McCaffrey might go first round. They're thinking about that.
I would probably put McCaffrey as like a late second round. I mean, he's good, but don't get me wrong.
Late second round?
Late second round, yeah. Surprising.
I could see him falling early second round if need be. I don't know, man. McCaffrey's a little tough to put. I don't know why it's so tough for us to put him there. But I feel like if he's a really good combine, it'll make a difference.
And it's not like being a late second round is bad.
No. You still have the potential to start somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I drafted somebody in the second round, I'm probably going to try to make them start, if not immediately, then the next year. I mean, or at least make them a complimentary running back.
Oh, yeah. And people are thinking that we would take him, the Patriots would take him first round. I
can see him fitting in that system.
I can definitely see it. It's a running back by committee in the way that they do it, because it's like the alternate guys in and out all the time. So it's not like he'd be like reliant to rush every single down, take over and just be like the man.
Yeah.
But he could earn it.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
And then we come down to the Seattle Seahawks, and we talked about this a little bit earlier. Is protect Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I don't understand why they did what they did to their offensive line. I mean, granted, maybe they wanted to invest somewhere else, but right now,
I think it was a matter of keeping pieces around.
Yeah, and
Sherman, Chancellor, Thomas, re-signing Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I think they were thinking, we'll build in the draft like we usually do, but for some reason they just haven't. Lately, at least, not effectively.
Yeah. I mean, perennial success always eats away your team through salary reasons.
Oh yeah,
one of the big want to get paid.
Yeah, one of the big examples I like using was the Baltimore Ravens from a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I mean
they lost almost everybody right after the Super Bowl win.
Yeah, and it makes you feel bad for the GMs that are just trying to scramble to stop the bleeding.
Mm-hmm. Ozzie Newsome in that case, really good GM, compiled a great team. They lost Ed Reed that season. Ray Lewis retired. Paul Kruger, their outside linebacker, went to Cleveland. They traded away Anquan Bolden to San Francisco.
Lost Torrey Smith to San Francisco also.
Torrey Smith. So those are 5 key players that helped them get to the Super Bowl. And with the only plus side that I didn't think it was that big of a plus side personally. I thought it was like okay. I mean, it made sense. They re-signed Joe Flacco that offseason to like a $105 million contract.
Yeah, I would never pay him that much. If I was a GM,
he's a good quarterback. He's a starter. I'd put him around the same. I'd put him. To me personally, I feel like Kirk Cousins and Joe Flacco are around the same area.
I feel like it's an insult to Kirk Cousins. I feel like Joe Flacco is like.
The only reason I put them
as flashes.
The only reason I say Flacco is because he's got a ring, and he plays tremendous in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to get to the playoffs. That's the key part, and you're in the same division as the Steelers, so it's not like that's an easy road to walk to,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he definitely has his great moments, and I'll never be able to take that away from him. But I don't know if I would invest that much into him.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Personally, I don't think I would have given them that big of a contract because it took away a lot from the organization.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just me personally. So the overall consensus on Seattle is, hey, go get linemen now.
Yeah. And
even if they're veteran linemen, go get them because you need them.
Exactly. I mean, you got to protect Russell Wilson. He's such a dangerous threat. Just give him the opportunity to be that. The only other thing that I could see that they would need would be cornerback. I know, oddly enough, like
you mean like a number 2?
Oh yeah, because I mean they had Kerry Williams from the Eagles, and I know how bad Kerry Williams can be.
Mm-hmm.
They just ever since they lost Brandon Browder, I just don't think they've been the same fierce lockdown defense that they used to be, because they've always had that soft spot at the number 2 corner.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't really say it's a soft spot because for a few years they had Brandon Browner, who was a monster. They had the guy they had in the playoffs this last season was pretty effective. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they played pretty well until he got hurt against Atlanta. I feel like personally Richard Sherman has that Deion Sanders effect where like no matter who plays across from him on the other side, does pretty well regardless.
Yeah.
So I don't think they need to go out and invest a huge amount of money. I feel like if they got it, it'd just be more of like an icing kind of pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like,
if you want to restore them to the greatness that they were, I feel like getting a cornerback is the first step doing that.
Yeah, because their defense is still amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
Bobby Wagner ended up picking it up this season, even though he had a couple of seasons where they weren't tremendous as we expected. KJ Wright's still playing awesome. They let go of Bruce Irvin, but they still have Michael Bennett. There's two of them. Sometimes I mix up the names. Sherman, Earl Thompson's going to be coming back after his injury, and Cam Chancellor.
Yeah.
Those are
you just listed off like
six
players.
Pro Bowl All-Pro players right there.
And I think they target the cornerback through the draft because that way you don't have to overpay for somebody.
Oh yeah, you put them on a rookie contract. You don't even have to go first round for them. Probably second round pick.
And their defensive coordinator is going to be able to develop them. I mean,
if anything,
they're learning from Richard Sherman, like.
Oh, exactly. So we can move on from that. We spent about 40 minutes talking about one division, but that's football. So we're going to talk about Magic Johnson being named the head of basketball operations for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, huge props to him. I mean, from not being involved in basketball really at all to being the head of his former organization.
Yeah.
Basically.
Little tidbit I think is really interesting is that they were, now that Larry Bird, and him are both in positions that, they chat back and forth about possible trades and whatnot. And speaking of the trade deadline, ended yesterday, and the talks were that Paul George was trying to get traded to the Lakers.
Yeah. And
unfortunately it didn't go through, and there was a lot of frustration afterwards because he was like, oh yeah, I go from being the man to being possibly traded. No, I'm not traded. And
see, that's the problem with trade talks is because when you start talking about this stuff,
it's not like it's not going to reach the media.
Oh yeah, no,
because that's a high level. That's a high level player.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the story right there. Is just him possibly being traded is the story.
Same thing with Jimmy Butler for a while, back and forth. As a Celtics fan, I was hoping that we'd pick up one of the two guys.
I would say Paul George to Boston would probably be
an
underrated trade.
That would have been a big move.
And Larry Bird has a little soft spot in his heart for the Celtics. Course. Yeah. He wants to see them do it pretty well.
But he's an Indiana, born and raised, so he's of course going to be a Pacers.
Yeah, he's a Hoosier, but you know that his time with the Celtics.
Oh yeah, of course it means something to him. Yeah. Which is why Magic went back to the Lakers.
Yeah, I think it's a good paradigm for them. I think them kind of like being rivals at multiple levels is
because he has the idea and he knows what. I don't say he knows, but he does have some good ideas, forward thinking for them to try to win.
Yeah.
He wants to go out and bring the talent back to LA.
Yeah, I think he's the one to do it too. I think he has the persona for it. I think he has the stature for it, and I think he's the fresh face for the Lakers that they definitely needed because Mitch Kupchak, for a while, it just seems like he just kind of dried up as a GM.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to the head coaching that they brought into because they'd bring in guys who, I'm trying to think, like Mike Brown. I don't know. They brought in a few guys like D'Antoni as well. It's just guys that didn't really work well with the actual personnel they had on the roster.
Yeah.
And Luke Walton's young. He still has a lot of potential to see where we can go with it. But I don't know. The Lakers have been kind of confusing the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Because it was awesome last year because Kobe's leaving and all that kind of stuff. It's a farewell tour, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, Kobe.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's not very tremendous for LA. It's not a very, I wouldn't say, they're not a very notable team to look at.
I think their trade to the Rockets was a really good one.
Lou Williams.
Only because Lou Williams was basically their safety net, and I think in a lot of ways they kind of need to get pushed out of the nest a little bit and learn to fly on their own as opposed to having to rely on somebody like a veteran like Lou Williams in this case. I think that's the next step for them is to kind of figure out who they are as a team as opposed to who they are as a team and then Lou Williams carry them.
Yeah.
Basically.
Because he was really effective at some really good games. But I think it's time to start building around your youth.
Exactly.
Brandon Ingram would be a good... Yeah, Brandon Ingram, right? The guy they picked up number 2 overall this year.
Yeah.
I think they should start implementing him a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if you have somebody that is doing really well, it's difficult to say, okay, put this rookie ahead of you. And I think them getting rid of the depth that they had there
It opens up some more.
It opens up for the rookies that they have, or the young players.
Yeah, like D'Angelo Russell. He's a starting point guard for him, but it's more like, hey, we're going to start giving you some more. Like,
focus on them. Exactly. Mm-hmm. I mean, are you going to focus on your young players, or are you going to keep bringing in these veterans that are basically clogging up the space that they could be expanding to?
Those are minutes.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I think that was a really good trade for them to get rid of him. Especially in this draft, it's a really deep draft this year.
Yeah,
I think they got a first round pick for him, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that, I'm pretty sure. I can look up if need be, but it basically works out for both sides because the Rockets are still trying to like make plays for guys that'll give them a playoff push.
Oh yeah, I think that is I think Lou Williams is a perfect fit for the Rockets. I mean, they're just a scoring monopoly at this point. It almost seems like.
Yeah, they traded Corey Brewer and first round pick to the Lakers for Lou Williams.
Yeah, see, I don't think Corey Brewer's going to eat up a lot of minutes, and the first round pick, like I said, this is a really deep draft, especially with the prospect of potentially losing your number 1 overall pick this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it falls out of the top 4 or top 3, then it's immediately transferred to the 76ers.
Yeah.
So I think this year, getting rid of your good player, tanking, which nobody likes to do, but.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
As a competitor, you want to play your best, but like the West is so stacked all over the board too.
Oh,
at this
yeah.
point, that like you don't have to tank. You could try your best. You probably still won't win if you're the Lakers.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which Terrance will probably come on and be like, "What'd you say about the Lakers?"
I mean, they were tanking with Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
on their team.
he had 60 points. He only had the one really great game, which was his final game.
Yeah, and everybody seems to forget the entire season.
Yeah, they were just feeding him the ball in that last game too. They were like, "Hey, Kobe, we're gonna give you the ball like every possession. Just go hit shots."
Yeah.
So we're going to move on now to Nerlens Noel, the trade to the Mavericks.
Yeah.
In this trade, the 76ers got center Andrew Bogut, shooting guard Justin Anderson, and a first-round pick with a little bit of... What was the word you were talking about earlier before we came on the air?
Protected first round?
Yeah, the protected first round. So you were saying that if it falls below 18, right?
I think so. I think that basically if the Mavericks will make the playoffs...
Then they become second-round picks.
No. If the Mavericks make the playoffs, then we get the first-round pick. But otherwise, I think it turns into 2 second-round picks, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh. Okay, I think I see what you're getting at here. So I feel like it's a pretty fair deal both sides-wise because the 76ers, they're really building up draft-wise to become really pretty good.
Yeah.
The 76ers are looking to build a solid roster. Bogut, I think he's pretty solid all around. You were saying that it's pretty much a cap dump for them to get Bogut.
Yeah, they're probably going to buy him out for the remainder of his contract. And then he was talking about possibly trying to sign with the Cavs, and I know the Cavs have been pursuing him for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a good trade for both teams. I think Nerlens Noel to the Mavericks is a really underrated pickup for them.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, this has been pretty widely publicized, but I think adding that extra youth and athleticism basically to make up for Dirk Nowitzki having none of that at this point, but having the skills and stuff. I mean, plus he gets to learn from Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, what potential superstar doesn't want to do that?
Because it was unfortunate for Noel because they drafted Okafor and then Embiid came back as well too. So you have your big men, taking over.
I mean,
taking your spots.
Personally, as a 76ers fan, we have a tremendous amount of cap room. So I kind of wanted us to see us sign Nerlens Noel and then get rid of Okafor. But unfortunately for us, the market for him is bleak at this point, just because he doesn't...
Off the court issues.
I would say, off the court issues is first year, but this year it's more like just him not living up to the number 3 overall pick. I mean, just knowing that we could have Kristaps Porzingis complimenting Joel Embiid, it pains me as a 76ers fan.
And what's even worse is like, the Knicks got him and the fans didn't even want him when they got drafted.
They booed him. Like, you guys don't deserve that. Seriously.
Yeah.
I remember watching his highlight reel probably like 2 months before
when he was playing
draft.
Overseas. Yeah,
and seeing him making all those threes and just basically saying to myself, like,
we need a guy like that.
Yeah, I didn't think he was a unicorn, but I definitely thought he was a steed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I see where you're getting at there. But they're going to get Ben Simmons back next season. Just got a couple updates via Bleacher Report that number 1 pick Ben Simmons to miss the rest of the season after CT scan didn't show full healing on his fractured right foot.
Damn.
So he will be sitting out for the rest of the season, but next year, him and Embiid will be a good combo.
Oh, yeah.
Plus whoever they get with the cap space they're going to have.
Yeah. And the fact that they're going to run Ben Simmons at the point occasionally means that you can put scoring threats as opposed to point guards on the court. And I think that would be a really potent combo, especially with Joel Embiid being able to stretch the floor. Then, I know we have Okafor still. And maybe this will be the redeeming moment for Okafor next year. But right now, I'm just praying that he gets his trade value up. And, I know he doesn't necessarily want to be in the situation he's in. And there's a lot of teams that could use him. But it seems like he just really has to care on defense.
Yeah. The NBA isn't all offense. You got to play a little bit of defense.
Yeah, right. I mean, offensively, he's a really good package. I mean, he doesn't have a really legitimate deep jump shot, but other than that, I mean, he's a whole package in himself right there offensively. So, I mean, he can complement a team definitely, especially if they're in a position for a championship run.
Yeah.
I think, and I thought the Celtics were going to try.
I say give the 76ers, like I was saying for the Timberwolves, give them a few more years, and they're in their conversation. Excuse me, they're in the conversation to make
definitely.
deep playoff runs.
In fact, I think that matchup in particular, the Timberwolves and the 76ers, is going to be a good one in the years upcoming because you got Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid playing against each other. I think East West. I think that's going to be.
You'll have Ben Simmons going up against Wiggins.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. I think, I'm excited, and especially against the teams like the Bucks. They got Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah,
he's a freak. So I want to see Ben Simmons match up with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I want to see Karl Anthony Towns match up with Joel Embiid. Personally, from my perspective on the 76ers.
Yeah, Giannis. I'm not going to try to botch his last name, so I'm just going to call him Giannis. He's coming to his own this season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's an all-star for a reason. Granted, I think Joel Embiid got snubbed, but I think that Giannis, if anybody was to take his spot, Giannis was the right one to do it.
So we're going to lead into a break. After we come back, we're going to have Terrance Schoefield come on, and we'll be talking a little bit more NFL, the Combine, free agency, and the DeMarcus Cousins trade to the Pelicans. The Pelicans. So thank you very much for coming on again this week, Donovan. Hopefully we'll have you again next week. Or excuse me. Well, next week we will see. Keep up with the Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll let you know probably via Facebook whether or not we'll have a show this week. This is coming up spring break as well, so it'll be about 50-50. I'll let you guys know at some point with it soon. So thank you again. Come on, Donovan.
Appreciate it, man.
We'll be playing some Maroon 5 maps. Enjoy, guys.
Your new favorite station. You like it, I love it. You like it, I love it. This is your man, Flo Rida. All hits. The New River Valley's hit station. RFR. Radio Free Radford.
Hey, how you guys doing? We're right back here. It's the Rines Report here on RadioFreeRadford.com. I got Terrance Schoefield here with me. We're going to be talking about the NFL Combine, and there's quite a few things to talk about, honestly, this week. It's been pretty interesting. We're going to talk about a couple players from the NFL Combine that we find are really interesting. For me, that's Jabril Peppers and Deshaun Watson. Those are at least two that I have that I want to pay attention to.
Because they are dynamic. I mean, what else can you say about them two?
Oh, yeah. I like Jabril Peppers personally.
Why?
Well, for personal gain reasons.
Okay, Patriot fan.
Yeah, I really hope, because he's been sliding all over draft boards. No one really knows where he's going to go.
How far is he sliding down?
Well, they say it's going to be later first round regardless, but people are having him sliding in and out of the first and second round, which to me doesn't... It makes sense, but it doesn't. I feel like if anybody takes him first round, it would be the Patriots, just because of how dynamic he is. Because he brings you a kick returner, special teams player, basically. He brings you a corner, safety, a linebacker.
Yeah, everything you need.
And you
all
know,
in one.
and pretty much, except for a defensive lineman, and Bill Belichick likes those guys that can play all over the field.
I just don't want it. You know how?
I know who you are as a Cowboys fan. You don't want us to get Peppers.
No, I don't want y'all to get.
If we don't pick, for me, if we didn't even pick up anybody crazy big in the offseason, like if we got Jabril Peppers, I'd feel like that'd be our win right there in first round. That's just me personally, because we're trading away Jimmy. Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
I'm pretty confident.
So let me ask you a question. Do you actually think that Jimmy Garoppolo is a first pick?
Is he worth?
Is he worth the Cleveland Browns first pick?
Which one? They have a number 1 and number 12.
Number 1. Well,
They're not.
they're not giving up number 1.
Exactly. I think he's worth the 12. I don't think.
12?
I think it makes sense for 12.
So what would they pick up? Would they pick up Myles Garrett from where's he from? Is that his name? Defensive
Who,
end.
the Browns?
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely number 1. I don't understand how you could pass up that guy.
Okay.
Personally, at 12, if they stick around, I feel like they get Deshaun Watson because I feel like Trubisky and Kaiser would be gone by then. For the Browns.
That's the dude from UNC, right?
Who, Trubisky?
Yeah.
Yes.
They say he's nice.
Yeah, that's what I heard, but I hadn't heard much of him until this
season.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with Kaiser. I'd never heard a thing.
So
about
that's
Kaiser.
why they're disrespecting Deshaun Watson. I feel like
by putting those two guys above.
Yes.
Well,
I mean, he has the stats. Man. I mean, yes, he does. He threw.
I feel like
the
the thing about Deshaun Watson that it comes down to is you hear about some of these guys and they go ahead and like, oh, how do these guys get ahead? Well, they're super talented, I'm sure, really athletic. But the thing is with Watson is you play at Clemson, a big program that's been in the national championship the last 2 years. And I'm not saying he didn't take him there. But it's not all just him either.
It's a lot of deep. Their defense was phenomenal.
Exactly.
Their defense. I mean, but their receiver. Who is their?
Mike Williams.
He's nice.
He is nice.
I mean, like he's a big body type receiver.
That's what
goes and get it, and that's what I love about a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Because I play receiver, so I like if I could have been a big guy like that.
Oh yeah, man. it would have been lights out.
Yeah, like I just think
I played quarterback, so big receivers like that make me feel good.
Yes, that's
I mean?
like I don't mind like an Antonio Brown or what's another or a Julian Edelman.
Yeah,
but
because big receivers are tough to overthrow.
Yes, because you can't like Dez Bryant, Megatron.
But the thing
AJ
about
Green.
The thing for me, at least when I played, is I like playing short. So I'll dink and dunk.
So you would take an Edelman.
I'll take an Edelman or an Antonio Brown short, just because I like to dink and dunk it all over the field. Just because like it makes guys come up, and then I could pop you down the field.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the big guys, like the big receivers, but I like my tight ends and my quick receivers a little more.
What you want to call them?
Slot
receivers. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because even when I'm out there on like Moffitt Quad playing football, I'm always quarterback. So I'm always like, all right, guys. Like if I'm huddling up, I'm like, all right, I want 2 guys at least going short. If we're playing like, if I have 4 receivers, I'm like, I'll have slants. I'll have guys doing digs. I'll have like one guy coming up doing a post from the middle just to cut it up.
I used to run this play when I was in high school. It's called a post corner.
Yeah.
And that's when you go like you run a regular post.
Yeah.
And then once you hit the post and you hit that corner, you break back out.
Yeah.
And then that kills so many people because if you have a good fake. And once you go and you break good and then you come back, some people can't handle that.
One of my favorite routes is honestly a post out. So instead of going towards the middle, would be like if you have your receiver, like let's say it's a slot. So if he's on my left side, going straight up and just cutting right out that way.
Oh, to the out, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the corner right there.
Exactly, because corners don't expect you to shoot out when you're going that high up.
Especially if you hit that corner, like not hit the corner but hit the post. I mean the post out quick. And you can't nobody get it because the quarterback is going to throw it on the inside shoulder. I mean, on the inside shoulder. So the only way you can get it is if you pass interference. If you're a corner, that's the only way you can get it.
It's one of those fun throws those quarterbacks like. But speaking of quarterbacks that are going to be there, Trubisky, I'm pretty sure Kaiser and Watson will all be throwing at the combine. At least that's what I've come to assume. It starts February 28th this month, so 4 days away from the actual combine start. And Peppers and Watson are guys that I look at because Peppers, like I said, super dynamic. I wonder what position he's going to declare as.
It's like a Braxton Miller. Well, he's better than Braxton Miller as far as all around player.
Well, Miller was a pretty good quarterback, really really fast, which is what made it easy for him to transition to receiver. So for him to be at Houston too, I really wish the Patriots would have picked up Braxton Miller just because he's so fast.
Does he do special teams too?
I don't know. From what I saw, he wasn't their kick returner.
Okay, because I couldn't remember if he was doing that too, or if he was just doing just basically a slot receiver.
Yeah.
Because his speed is ridiculous.
Yeah, and when I remember watching him when he first played receiver at Ohio State, like the first season he did.
Oh yeah, with Jake.
When they were playing Tech. This is my freshman year last year, so everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it's Tech's first game. They beat Ohio State last year. You know, Ohio State won the national championship.
Yeah.
Like they were so excited. They're like, we might beat Ohio State." Braxton Miller came out and hit the circle button and span out 3 Tech players, shot up the field for like a 60-yard touchdown.
I really
That's when I thought that guy was the real deal, because I was like. because he ran like it was a short
screenplay, wasn't it? And
it was
then
a short
took
screen.
off.
I think he makes one guy miss, and then 3 guys are coming down on him, and he just like fucking excuse me, he spin moves. Excuse me, he spin moves on the guys, and then just shoots up the field. And I was like, how did he do that? Because like he put him on skates too.
Yeah, he did. Because his first move is quick. Like, whatever he does move, like whatever he moves first is like boom. And if you're not quick enough to react to it, then you might as well just say he's going for the touchdown every time.
Oh yeah, he's really fast. He has NFL speed, which is why he went to Houston too. And they picked up Fuller, and Fuller's a really good receiver.
Oh
like,
yeah,
his last season,
Fuller,
his first like 2-3 games, I'm pretty sure he had 100-yard receiving game.
Yeah, if they can get what's the name going to DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
like, on a consistent, like he's a good receiver, but
they need a quarterback to throw it to him. Exactly.
There you go. They need a quarterback to throw it to him. We both said it at the same time.
Oh, it's exactly like mine's. Peppers was moving all over draft boards. Like I was saying.
So who has Mel Kiper said is going to be the, like, you know how he have like the top 10, who's going where, who might choose who. I haven't seen that this year.
Let me see. Mel Kiper's 27 mock draft 2 point. This is on ESPN. So let's see right here. Cleveland Browns, Myles Garrett.
Okay.
Number 1, and then he also had. Oh man, where's the rest of the article at? This is it. This is all he got.
See, that's what makes me mad, man.
Let's see. Anything else on this? This is just ESPN. This is the first thing that popped up for me. Oh man, this is a little frustrating. Why? Why does it do this? Activate your insider account. I don't want to have an insider account. I don't need that.
Yeah, that's money.
That's money. I don't need to spend that money. No. I don't know. I'm sure there's a few mock drafts. It's just a matter of finding it at this point. Let's see. Myles Garrett,
okay.
Jonathan Allen from Alabama at number 2.
Okay.
Chicago Bears, Mitch Trubisky.
Now, do you think that they are either going to get Brock Osweiler? I mean, first of all, my question is Romo.
Yeah. Where do you think he's going?
Yeah, I don't. It's nothing that's been out there.
To me, it's either Houston or it's Denver right now. Because Houston's close. They have a really good defense, and basically their entire team's really good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Houston would make sense. I don't know if they have the cap space to sign him, but if they traded, it could make some sense. It's just a matter of who do you trade.
Brock Osweiler.
I don't think the Cowboys would want that contract.
No, but I'm not saying. I feel like the Cowboys are going to release Tony Romo. That's what I feel like is going to happen.
They still have to pay Tony Romo.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna still have to pay him, but I feel like what are you gonna get? What's on the market to get for him?
To get for him, it's just a matter of what. I think it's just draft picks, really.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like the Texans could give up a couple draft picks to get him, but I don't think they can get. They can't get out from underneath Brock Osweiler's contract, which is unfortunate for him.
They can't trade him at all. I mean,
they can,
but who would want to take all that money?
That's the point. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, no, I don't know if anybody really wants to trade for that because they signed him to a huge contract,
thinking he was going to be top
the man.
Right.
Yeah, and he's not even close.
When was he getting that money?
He's like the bottom tier of starting quarterbacks. We trout all over Osweiler, and I liked him for a minute.
Yeah, he had that good half or that good.
He played a few good games for Denver. He had a lot of upside. Then he got a bunch of money, went to Houston, was like, I'm gonna be the man. Then it ended up being terrible.
And he got hurt a couple games too, I think. A game or two.
He might have, and then like some other people started stepping in, which is when it was like
Tom Savage.
Yeah, Tom's a savage. But I don't know, Brock Osweiler, man. If he doesn't pick it up next season, if he doesn't go out there and like, hey, I'm proving I'm the guy, it's not gonna happen for him.
Tom Savage is gonna get back on the first.
He could, unless they pick up some other quarterback.
So what quarter? It's Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor's he's a possible option for trades. I don't know if he would actually go anywhere. I don't think they're gonna release him. I like Tyrod personally.
I do too. Not just because he's a tech player, but I like his game.
Yeah.
And I like how first of all, I'm the type of person is like quarterbacks that are mobile.
Yeah.
And that can scramble if need.
Yeah. He doesn't scramble just to run the ball. Yeah. He scrambles to pass.
Right. So I mean, I like the different quarterbacks, like Aaron Rodgers, who can scramble a little bit.
Russell Wilson,
Tyrod, Dak, which is he's not really that.
He's not even
much,
that big of a scrambler.
right? But
no.
if he had to, he could do it.
Matt Ryan can scramble a little bit to do it.
He's like a Tom Brady speed though. I think.
Well, he doesn't scramble to run though. Like Alex Smith is actually one of those guys who moves around a little bit too. People don't think about that. But him, Ben Roethlisberger does it sometimes too. They move out of the pocket, which is I contribute to Ben Roethlisberger's just the fact that he has to move out of the pocket because they play it so deep all the time.
Right, they bomb it to Antonio Brown,
which is why he gets hurt.
Exactly.
So Mitch Trubisky at 3 to Chicago. This is off of WalterFootball.com, by the way. So mock draft, yes, okay, and then it goes number 4, Solomon Thomas, defensive end Stanford to Jacksonville. Tennessee gets Jamal Adams, safety out of LSU. The Jets, Leonard Fournette, running back out of LSU. That would make sense because if Fournette went to the Jets, you have like a 1-2 running back punch of him and Forte, and you can have a guy learn behind Forte if need be. It's like a back and forth like running back
Man, you might as well go ahead and start him. Bump Forte. Go ahead.
Forte had a good season.
Yeah, but it's Fournette, man. That man, his well, not rookie year, but his first year, he was.
He was the man.
Yes, and then he just. I don't know if they stopped handing him the ball. I think.
I think he got hurt.
Or did he get hurt? It was something like that. I couldn't remember.
Let me see. Number 7, the LA Chargers, Malik Hooker, the safety out of Ohio State. Marshawn Lattimore to the Carolina Panthers, the corner. Or Lattimore, excuse me. Cincinnati picks up Reuben Foster, the linebacker out of Alabama. Buffalo Bills, Mike Williams, wide receiver Clemson, the guy you were talking about that you really liked.
Williams is going where?
This is the mock draft off of WalterFootball.com, and it goes Buffalo Bills number 10. Get Mike Williams.
But they already. Ooh, that's that. If him and Sammy Watkins.
And then Tyrod. That'd be a pretty good.
He got some
offense.
weapons, and they got LaShawn McCoy. That defense is not sorry either. That defense.
It's not that bad. But they're losing Stephon Gilmore in free agency.
He's a corner, right?
He's pretty effective.
You don't think
corner.
he's gonna go back? They gonna sign him back?
I don't think so.
Why not?
They just haven't made any moves to seem like they want to.
Okay.
Because I don't think they have the money to do it either. It's more of a
Cowboys can pick him up. Pick him up.
They don't nearly have the cap for that.
Man, we need to do something. We need to let go of somebody, draft somebody, something. We need some secondary. We need a secondary.
Let me see. The Cowboys are 31st in the league's upcoming cap right now, right behind the Kansas City Chiefs. The cap space they have would be about $2.3 million.
That's nothing. Who did we pay all that money to?
Let me see. Let me look at the chart real quick. The offense took up $101 million, and then the defense took up $52 million. They're a very offensive sound team. Dallas Cowboys.
Probably the offensive line. It's probably all the offense and Dez.
It's worth it, obviously.
Yeah, but we didn't get there.
I mean, if you wanted to get out from under some more cap space, I could see Dez Bryant getting traded, but I know you'd probably cry about it.
I might would. Because that last game, he showed me the old Dez.
Yeah.
That was the old Dez right there. Because Dez
I like Dez, too.
He showed up in that Green Bay
But in the words of
game.
Nick will preach it, that Dez Bryant would kill somebody if he went somewhere else, probably. Oh, my goodness, Dez Bryant. That's why we miss Nick.
Right. He would go on a whole terror right now.
He would go on a whole thing about like how he didn't like Dez, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, in the same division, the New York Giants, and the New York Giants have Odell Beckham, and then I don't like Odell Beckham for these reasons. And I like Terrell Owens because I don't like Odell Beckham, and it'd just be a whole rant." Because Nick loves to take over sometimes too, but we love Nick.
Yeah. Nick, you're missed right now.
You definitely missed. I'll have to send him the link to the to this when it goes on YouTube tomorrow. So definitely, listeners, look up the YouTube page. Just look at my name, Tristan Blake Rines.
The one and only.
The one and only. The only Tristan Blake Rines on the planet. Don't I feel special? Anyway, but what were we getting at? The Cowboys have a low cap space, basically, so I feel like they let go of some people maybe this offseason. Doug Free looks like he can be on the move. Ronald Leary's on the move too.
Ronald Leary, that's
the guard.
Yeah.
But Lowell Collins basically took that spot. He's still under rookie contract for cheap.
So we can keep
because
that.
he didn't go drafted because he was like a suspect in this murder case where he wasn't even in the state, but they were like he could have done it, but he didn't just because his name. Right. Yeah, basically. So they ended up picking him up on like a 3-year, like $1 million a year. I'm pretty sure, or something like that. He's remember like the preseason, his rookie year, and he was playing guard next to Tyron Smith and pancaking guys.
They was smashing people.
Dude, he's fast. And I feel like if Doug Free leaves...
so we could trade Leary?
Oh, no, Leary's going to be a free agent. You could let go of Free or trade him. And he's a really solid right tackle. And like we've talked about plenty of times. Like, it's like you have a great offensive line when the worst guy on your offensive line starting is Doug Free.
Right. And Doug Free, I mean, he's on another team, he would be dynamic. Like,
he'd be the best offensive lineman on the team.
But we've had him for a while also, too.
He's been on the team for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Guys that could also make sense. Well, it's because if Doug Free goes, then you move Lil Collins to the right tackle spot, which is where he feels comfortable anyway. He played that in college. Or you keep him at guard, and then you just move your interior alignment around a little bit, and you still have a number one offensive line. That's just the way I see it. Because Zach Martin, they just re-signed to a new deal, I'm pretty sure, too. Travis Frederick got paid.
Yeah.
So they're paying guys if they need to. So we can move on from the NFL Combine, and we just basically slide right into the NFL free agents to watch. These are some names that, to me, could leave their franchises. Maybe not. They could end up getting franchise tagged for all we know. But these are some of the names I could definitely see leaving. So we're going to look at some big names. The NFL league year in free agency opens up on March 9th.
Next week? Well, week after next.
Yeah, so during spring break, basically. So that'll be a lot of fun to come on and talk about right after we get back from break.
Yeah.
So big names. Number one, I have Dante Hightower from the New England Patriots. And it's in no particular order. It's not like I'm outranking guys or anything, but I just picked Dante Hightower because...
If he leaves...
as a fan, I really hope we don't lose Dante Hightower. He's been a part of both championships and was a key element in both of them.
Both. And y'all don't have... y'all have key players in key spots. Mm-hmm. So if y'all lose key... Like if y'all lost Malcolm Butler or Dante Hightower or... what's another dude on defense? I can't think. What's the defensive line? Y'all got a good defensive lineman, don't you?
Nikovic?
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah. And say if y'all lost one of those three players...
Or Devin McCourty. People forget that Devin McCourty's an all-pro safety.
And I forgot about McCourty.
Yeah.
So if y'all lose one of them, that could be traumatic to y'all.
Yeah. Well, we a few years ago we re-signed McCourty, so I'm not worried about him for at least a couple more seasons. Butler doesn't want to go anywhere else, I'm pretty certain, and he seems like the most susceptible guy to getting a new deal that's worth the money. The thing about Hightower is that Hightower, I don't think he'll stay unless he gets a really big contract. And linebackers in the NFL today, they're the elite ones, and there's like pretty much everybody else. So you have your Kuechly, and you have your Hightower to me.
Sean Lee, don't leave him out, please.
Sean Lee has been injured.
But he
had a great season this year, but I'm not putting him in the status of consistently elite.
He's top 3
this year. He's been hurt a lot the last 3 seasons.
Okay, he has been hurt, but
That's why I'm not gonna put him in there, because if he would have stayed healthy, yeah,
he would have been the number one. Close, either him or Khalil.
I'm not putting anybody over Luke Kuechly.
Well, Kuechly was hurt this year.
He got hurt for how long?
I think it was 4 or 5 games.
I'm still not putting anybody over Kuechly. Kuechly's a monster.
Okay.
That's just me personally.
Okay.
But a few games is not 3 seasons.
Right. Okay. He was out for at least. Was Sean Lee out for maybe a whole
Last
season?
year he didn't play at all. The year before that he got hurt really early too.
Yeah, but he's been staying healthy
this entire season he was healthy.
Yeah, so I'm content about that.
Yeah, I'm not saying Sean Lee's bad.
Right.
I'm not sitting out here saying that. I'm not sitting out here being the Antichrist of the Dallas Cowboys, saying oh, the Cowboys are horrible and I can't stand them because Terrance is on the show right now. No. It's
that's what I say about the Patriots.
No, that's you. But I respect the Cowboys. The only team I'm not a fan of personally are the New York Jets.
Because they're your rival.
I would say that, but I have plenty of reasons to not like the Jets.
Jets.
But we're not going to get into the Jets right now. I don't want to get annoyed on a nice Friday. I don't... Oh, okay. So we're both making bold claims today. That's funny. With what quarterback? Anyway. Dante Hightower, if he leaves New England...
Bryce Petty.
Bryce Petty? Oh, man. Now you're just being petty. If he leaves New England, Dante Hightower, I could see the Oakland Raiders as a really good landing spot because they need one of those middle linebacker solid guys. Because Khalil Mack's an outside linebacker who basically plays defensive end. He's a rusher for the most part. Everybody loves Khalil Mack. He's going to get paid this offseason, too.
He's a free agent?
No.
Oh,
He's just coming up on a
okay.
contract year, so they want to solidify him. Oakland would make a lot of sense because they need a stout linebacker like that who can go down, hit, and also make a lot of key moves.
Right.
So Hightower's the best option for linebackers going into this free agency.
Okay.
Alshon Jeffrey, we were talking about this before with Donovan, wide receiver from Chicago. I can see him definitely going to Philly.
That would be great for Carson Wentz.
Exactly.
But if Deshaun Jackson went back too?
Jackson's a little older. That's the only reason I'm saying.
He still got that speed. He ain't lost it.
Speed can be lost, though.
Yeah, but he hasn't, though. He showed, he
also had a few injuries
yeah.
while he was with Washington, so they can get him for an affordable price. I'm just saying
He
you don't
wanted to play
sign
with a great quarterback.
Hmm?
He also said he wanted to play with a great quarterback.
I mean, Carson Wentz is pretty good for his rookie season.
Yeah, but I feel like he was more leaning
Kirk Cousins.
way.
Kirk Cousins, we were talking about a lot before you came back on, was what the guys were talking about. He was really good.
Yeah, he is. I don't know what it is, though. It's like they can't get over the hump. Like they.
What would you feel? How would you feel if the Cowboys got Deshaun Jackson?
I'd be hyped.
For me, to teams like Philadelphia or Washington or anybody else other than Dallas, they could probably get him for affordable pricing. But the Cowboys really need to stretch that out contract-wise to get Deshaun Jackson.
What, money-wise?
Mm-hmm. If you guys weren't hoping to lose anybody valuable.
I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody we really like. Morris Claiborne. We have Morris Claiborne. I think he's coming up. He's a free agent this year. I think Brandon Carr's a free agent this year.
Carr, I'm pretty sure, is a free agent. Let me find it. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, there's plenty of guys on the team that are gonna be free agents, but it's not enough of them where it's like, yeah, there's definitely gonna be guys that let me just pull it up real quick. Dallas. This is off of SportsTrack.com. Brandon Carr, Ronaldo McClain, Morris Claiborne, Ron Leary, Barry Church, Mark Sanchez, Darren McFadden, Lance Dunbar. There's a good amount of players. Terrance Williams.
And it's all of us. Okay, see, this is who we don't need. Terrance Williams, he can go.
Yeah.
He's not really that.
Let me see. Let's look at his market value really quickly. What's Terrance Williams' market value? $8.2 million.
That's a lot.
That's a lot for a guy that's been the backup to
Dez
Bryant.
Okay. Dunbar.
Yeah.
He can be gone.
McFadden's a little older. I can see that going too.
Yeah. Mark Sanchez, he's probably out of there.
He was a third string this year.
Yeah, so he's probably out of there.
He must have got somebody else. He's 30 years old. Wow. Crazy.
McClain. Hold on. Which one they got suspended this year?
McClain.
So he's done for.
He should be.
Yeah, he's done for. So
Brandon Carr's gonna be 30 years old though.
So I'm saying we need some new.
That's why you built the draft.
Yeah, and we don't have time for that right now. We don't have
They're in a win now. The Cowboys fans are always win now, but the actual organization's like, we got a few years, we can win.
Now we got a few years because we got a young core.
Yeah, good offense.
So
the defense needs to be steady though. That's the thing. Is you can't get anywhere without a good defense.
Exactly, and that's how y'all won this year because y'all's great. Well, first of all,
the
Tom
defense,
Brady, but
yeah, Tom Brady's the reason he got MVP. But the defense is the reason we were still in the game.
Yeah.
Even though they had let up initially a 25-point gap. But they held on just long enough.
Mm-hmm. Just long enough.
Yeah, I know Terrance is a little. He's still a little annoyed by that, just because he's sitting across from a guy who's happy with how the season ended.
No comment. No comment. No comment. I don't really.
That's why we love you, Terrance. Next on the list, I have Calais Campbell, the defensive end for Arizona.
Okay.
Another move for Oakland that makes sense to me because if they had an edge run stopper like that, that complemented Khalil Mack, because Campbell gets after the quarterback necessarily. He's 6'8".
You said Chris Campbell?
Calais,
okay.
Campbell is 6'8". That's a big man. That's a big man.
That's as big as LeBron.
Yeah.
Maybe bigger, to be honest, as far as weight size.
Oh, weight, definitely. He's definitely bigger than LeBron at that point. But Calais Campbell to the Oakland Raiders, I feel like it really comes down to either Hightower or Campbell. If it came down to the option, it's one or the other. Because the Arizona Cardinals, I'm pretty sure, are going to re-sign Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense for them to keep him. another defensive end that's going to be hitting the market from the Giants, Jason Pierre-Paul. If they don't franchise tag or re-sign him, I could see Atlanta making a big move to get Jason Pierre-Paul.
It'd be nice if the Cowboys could get him.
We're going to go back to the cap issue here, Terrance.
I know, man.
We're going to go bring it back to the real world here.
No, I'm wishful thinking.
Cap space is a huge deal.
Hey, but that's what we take for a great offensive line.
That's a necessity. It's that foundation. That's what you build your team around. Eric Berry, the safety from Kansas City. Indianapolis, to me, makes a lot of sense.
Ooh. That would be good. Really good. Especially to help Andrew Luck out. I mean, even though he's on offense, but to have some type of steady
veteran presence.
Yeah, veteran presence on defense to maybe help out the young core.
Well, the thing about Indianapolis too is that secondary has been really bad for the last few years.
They haven't been good since like Bob Sanders.
And the thing about Bob Sanders is that he played less than half of his career games. Like he wasn't healthy for more than like I'm pretty sure like in the 40 percentile of like the actual games he played in.
But in Rhodes, who they was pretty good. They was pretty good back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Peyton won Super Bowl because I think Bob Sanders was still playing.
Mm-hmm. The other one, the Super Bowl, he was on the team. He was Defensive Player of the Year. I'm pretty sure.
He was nice back then.
Yeah, he was. That's the thing is like, does Bob Sanders belong in the Hall of Fame? To me, he's got a ring. Defensive Player of the Year. He didn't play enough.
He didn't play enough. Not enough games.
Because a lot of the guys who make it the Hall of Fame, they actually played a ton of games, except for Gale Sayers. Because Gale Sayers'
career
career
didn't make it.
Huh?
How come T.O. didn't make it? Just
the actual voters went out public. I think he should be in personally.
Yeah.
The actual voters were like, oh, he dropped a lot of passes. He caught 1,000. He caught thousands of, not thousands, but he caught like over 1,000 passes. Had 150 something touchdowns, ridiculous amounts of yards, and you're telling me that he can't make it in after 2 years? So he's gonna be a third ballot.
That's crazy. That's disrespectful, to be honest, I think.
Guys like Brett Favre made it in the first year. Favre won one championship, went to two. Had some off the... Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, he went to one with Green Bay. The second one he went... Pretty sure he went to two, didn't he? Favre?
No, I don't think so. I think he went to the NFC Championship game with the Vikings and lost.
I remember that.
But I don't know if he made it. I don't know if he made it twice. That's why I was sort of unsure. I wasn't really sure on that.
I'm trying to remember. I could swear he made it. But I know he won one, but he only ever won the single one. But he got 4 MVPs. But he had some off the field issues too. Brett Favre was known to throw terrifyingly bad interceptions too. So if you wanted to say T.O. dropped passes, I've seen footage of Brett Favre throwing interceptions to cornerbacks by themselves that were nowhere near receivers.
Right. So you telling me T.O. I hate stuff like that when they come to the point to see if a person actually makes it to the Hall of Fame or not, because a lot of players should have already, for example, T.O. should have been there. Mm-hmm. He has the stats.
Then there are certain guys who've never won a championship or even been close, like LaDainian Tomlinson.
And he's in the Hall of Fame?
He's going to be... Yeah, he got nominated this year. He was first ballot.
Over T.O.?
Mm-hmm.
That's disrespectful. That's just disrespectful.
I can see why LaDainian Tomlinson makes it in. LaDainian Tomlinson was an NFL MVP, and he was a nightmare for defenses his entire career.
Except for when he went to the Jets.
Except for when he went to the Jets, these were his last couple of years. But I forgive him for that. But LaDainian Tomlinson was... I feel like he was better than T.O. And like what he did for his teams, LaDainian Tomlinson was a beast, man.
But T.O. is like a Randy Moss.
Like if I were to go out and make an ideal running back like for the 2000s, it'd be LaDainian Tomlinson. I would probably go out in Madden right now and just make me like a version of LaDainian Tomlinson just to play with him.
I'm trying to think of another running back.
Because LaDainian had speed, he had a one cut, he can make you miss.
Yeah,
and he had some hops.
Chris Johnson too.
Chris Johnson's not retired yet though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we're talking about quarterbacks in the league of 2000s. I think
running backs.
I mean, not quite. Yeah, I meant running backs.
Yeah, Chris Johnson was really good. He had a 2,000-yard season.
But then after him and after Vince Young fell off, it was just
Chris Johnson
having a comeback from what I've seen.
Yeah, Chris Johnson. Well, his health has been here and there.
Yeah.
So he's had some comeback seasons, but he's also been hurt
Right.
quite a bit, and he's floated around the league a little bit too. So I don't know if he would make it first ballot, but he could eventually, maybe down the road, make it.
You see where Vince Young trying to come back? Did you see that?
He ain't coming back in the league, man. He hasn't thrown a pass in a game since 2011.
That's 6 years.
Yeah. Which is why
yeah, he's over.
Like he might go back. He might go to Canada. I can see him going to Canada, but we don't talk about Canada here.
Right.
We don't talk about Canada on this show. Sorry, I keep kicking your shoes.
You're good.
And then finally, I have Melvin Ingram, the outside linebacker from Los Angeles, the Chargers now. I could see him coming to New England. I could see it, just because we had the money to do it.
Yeah, y'all got a lot because y'all don't have any top dog players except for Tom Brady. Like you get what I'm saying?
Gronk.
And Gronk.
When he's on the field.
When he's on the field, but other than those two, there's no other players.
No top 10 or like top 20 players in the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hard to come across guys like that. So.
Yeah. So, but y'all, it's like they work for y'all though. You get them like it works.
Mm-hmm.
So you really can't go away from it.
I don't know, my ears bugging me. My bad. I keep doing it. But I know what you mean. And Melvin Ingram is one of those outside linebackers that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you complement him with the pass rush we already have. We kind of have. We need to improve the pass rush overall. So I could see the Patriots re-signing Chris Long for a pretty cheap deal.
Yeah.
Rob Nikovich is going to be on the team. If you put Melvin Ingram on the outside of Nikovich with that, like that's a scary pass rusher right there. I'm not saying he's like Von Miller, but he's pretty effective.
Right. It'll be good enough for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
He'll have a good enough effect for y'all's team.
Exactly. And then bringing in guys like, Jabril Peppers.
No. No.
That's my hope for this offseason. Is like I hope we get somebody pretty good in free agency or a few collective really good pieces, and then we get a guy like Jabril Peppers on the free.
So would y'all take him number 12?
Would we take Jabril Peppers? No.
Who would y'all? So say 12th pick. If y'all get a 12th pick for Jimmy Garoppolo,
We're taking a defensive lineman. I'm pretty sure. There's a guy at Tennessee. I think his name's I think his last name's Barnett. Tennessee football roster. Or excuse me, I'm just gonna go look at draft picks really quickly. Draft prospects. Draft prospects. Here we go. They have a few pretty good guys. Yeah, here he is. I'm pretty sure. Or is that an offensive line? Oh, goodness. Yeah, Derek Barnett. Defensive end. Yeah. Apparently he's really good. I could see us getting him.
yeah, that's a good pass.
There's a few people have put him at the same spot for the for their mock drafts going to New England. Makes sense.
Oh.
New England, because if we don't pick up a guy like Chris Long on another deal for like another 1 year, get a guy in the draft. If we trade away Jimmy Garoppolo, defensive lineman makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
Because we do need the pass
As you
rush.
explain it to me.
We need the pass rush.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we could re-sign Hightower and like I said, Butler. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Is he a free agent this year?
I think we're just trying to lock him down on a deal.
Okay, so he might be a free agent like next year or something like that, probably.
Something like that, yeah. Hightower's definitely supposed to be a free agent, though, this year. Which is what scares me. He's a beast.
Yeah, most definitely.
So now we can move on finally to... we're going to take a quick little break, and then we'll move on to the biggest... I feel like probably the biggest story of the last week, following the All-Star week, and the DeMarcus Cousins to the Pelicans trade. So I'm going to hit you guys with some quick little music break, and we'll be back here soon. All right?
Hey everyone, this is Demi Lovato, and you're listening to today's Top Hits
Radio Free Radford.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Rines Report. This is again your host Tristan Rines. I'm joined by Terrance Schoefield. We're going to be on our last subject here. We have about 20 minutes remaining, so we're going to be talking about DeMarcus Cousins going to the Pelicans. We'll also throw in a little bit more of, because he's our resident Lakers fan.
Yes, sir.
We'll be talking about the Lou Williams trade to the Rockets as well. But we're going to start off with the biggest trade following All-Star Weekend was DeMarcus Cousins to the Pelicans. So in this trade, the Pelicans received Cousins and Omar Caspi. And the Kings received Buddy Hield, Langston Galloway, Tyreek Evans, a top 3 pick, essentially, so a first-round pick, and a second-round pick.
I think that's pretty. I mean,
well, the top 3 pick, I think it kind of varies. It depends on a few things, I'm sure.
the top 3 pick.
It's basically lottery, almost in a sense, and it's a first-round pick overall.
Right.
I think it just varies positioning,
right.
I'm sure. So What do you think about this trade?
I like. So it's a top 3 pick from the.
It's the first round pick from.
But they're not gonna get a top 3 pick. The Pelicans, are they?
It's. I read it somewhere. I think it was Bleacher Report. It said something about a top 3 pick.
Okay.
Essentially, is what they'd be getting.
Okay. I think it's a good trade for the Pelicans.
Yeah. A lot of people think the Pelicans just basically won this trade.
Yeah, they won that trade. I mean, unless Buddy Hield just becomes
the
man.
Yeah.
Then, and Tyreek Evans, I mean, he's
a solid player.
Yeah, he's a solid player. He's already played for the Kings. We know what he's about. So you can't really expect any more or less from him.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So unless Buddy Hield ends up becoming a superstar and
this was a good trade for the Pelicans.
Yeah, it was all Pelicans won because DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, because you have Anthony Davis for a while. I think you have to I think this is a contract year still for Cousins, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they'll re-sign him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think they'll have the cap for it to do it too. So that's gonna be. Those are arguably the best 2 big men in the whole league playing on the same team. I think you have to just build around them.
Okay.
You get some more supporting guys like
a 3 or 2.
Basically. And you get guys who can basically shoot around them. Because you're not going to lose rebounds having these 2 guys in there.
At all. And they can both shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Like Anthony Davis.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Is DeMarcus Cousins going to have to take the back seat?
For now, yes. Because this is Anthony Davis's team. This is the Pelicans.
Okay.
So he's new. So it's not like if Kobe were to walk in, you know what I mean, like during his youth. Like if Kobe were to have ever been traded from the Lakers and went anywhere, he would have been the man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like LeBron walking in. It's not like LeBron walking onto the Miami Heat and him instantly being the man because it's LeBron.
Right.
But DeMarcus Cousins, he'll take a back seat for a while until he really gets comfortable, and then I feel like it's just even. Because I feel like overall Anthony Davis is the leader of this team.
Right.
There's no question of how competitive Cousins is.
His attitude.
Yeah, his attitude, really. But like it was funny to me when somebody asked me in a presser, like, "Oh, how do you consider yourself, like, how competitive do you feel like you are?" And he goes, 17 technicals worth.
17 technicals worth. That's a good one.
I love DeMarcus Cousins for that. I really wish we would have, as a Celtics fan, I wish we would have gotten somebody.
I thought y'all was gonna make the trade for George or Butler
yeah.
or somebody, but y'all got Brooklyn's pick this year and next year. So I mean, y'all are set up for great.
Yeah,
and y'all are in the playoffs.
We're in the playoffs. Horford's playing pretty well. We're getting Avery Bradley back at some point this season.
Yeah, he's defense. And his offense has gotten even better.
Yeah.
But his defense is
nights that Avery Bradley can play deep, like offense. Like he's already really good defensively,
right.
and he can rebound.
Yeah.
For a guy
For
his
guard,
size.
yeah.
Yeah, and he rebounds pretty well. So, but back to this trade exactly. This makes a lot of sense to me because if the organization for the Kings has been kind of weary back and forth about DeMarcus.
Yeah.
Because of I think it's a little bit like 17 technicals.
Right.
17 technicals overall for the guy. It's a lot of playing time. That's a lot of, it's more of an image thing.
Right.
I think the Kings are just like kind of accepting that they need to rebuild overall.
Right.
They're not going to be like, oh, we're going to center the team around DeMarcus. We're going to start adding guys in because nobody wants to go to Sacramento. That's unfortunate, but I'm going to be pretty honest here. Nobody really wants to go to Sacramento.
No, Sacramento. Last time they were good was when they had Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Peja I don't even know how to pronounce the name. Stovakovic, I guess. I can't think of it. And that was the last time they was good, but they couldn't get past the Lakers.
Yeah. That was Kobe wasn't like
Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not.
The Kings have been
mediocre.
Very.
Not even that.
They've been subpar
for
quite a while now. Is the fitting word here. The Pelicans, I don't know. I feel like they have a lot of good potential here. If they can pick up a really good guard, I think that makes a big difference.
Free agents this year?
Let's take a look. I haven't really looked at upcoming free agents. Well, I know Paul George is supposed to be a free agent. I'm trying to think who else. I keep saying a lot. That's my own bad, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies for the ums. Free agency, NBA. Just did it again. When you notice things like that. Guys who are supposed to be free agents: Blake Griffin, Derrick Rose, Jeff Green, Manu Ginobili, Serge Ibaka, Amir Johnson, Andre Iguodala, Andrew Bogut, Tyreek Evans, Steph Curry. Really? Huh, he's on a contract year. I don't think he's really worried about his contract.
Yeah,
though.
he's staying.
Yeah, he writes.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah, Blake Griffin would make sense.
Well, not to
the Pelicans, excuse me, but as a Celtics fan, it could make some sense here.
Yeah, I thought y'all might have done that too.
Mm-hmm. They were talking about possibly sending him to the Celtics. See who else is JJ Redick.
Well,
Forward.
that might work good there.
Yeah, it could. Kyle Korver is going to be heading out.
That's not nothing.
Sean
big.
Livingston's on a contract year.
He's a good backup.
Brendan Jennings, Jonas Rebko.
I don't see nobody outstanding that would be
Not
like-
really. Michael Carter Williams.
that would help them. They've had to do another.
Let's
But
just
they don't
take
have
a.
nothing else to trade. Them.
I think because Derrick Rose is going to be a free agent after this season. I could see him possibly going to the New Orleans Pelicans.
For what? They already got Drew Holiday.
It's Derrick Rose. He's having a pretty good year.
Yeah, he is averaging like 17.
Let's go to guards individually, and then this is also off of SportsTrack.com. I just really like the website. They're not making me plug them or anything, of course, but I just like the website. They give me some good information. Vince Carter is going to be 40 years old. Wow,
Wow,
that's insane.
that's crazy.
How time flies,
Vinsanity.
man. Vinsanity. Ty Lawson.
He drinks too much.
And that's pretty much it. Jonathan Simmons.
From San Antonio,
Mm-hmm.
he's good.
He is pretty good. Had some pretty good games so far. Free agency for the NBA is a little more it's uncertain where people go because it's more of a money chase to me than anything else. Need coffee. But other teams that make sense overall. Who do you think Paul George really goes towards, though? I think he goes to Los Angeles. So we might as well just start talking about Los Angeles now.
As a free agent.
As a free agent.
He's a free agent this year?
Pretty sure he is. Let's see. All positions. Well, he had talked about leaving.
Before he signs a lucrative deal this year,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, I want to know if we're going to have like a win, like if I'm going to play for a winning team.
Exactly. Well,
So it might not be this year, but
it might not be this year, but it's soon.
like probably next year.
Let's see. Trending players: Paul George. 2018-2019 is supposed to be a contract year. I think it's a option year for him. Something of the sort. Yeah. So, cap hit of 18. Dead money value is 58. Wow, that's a lot of money. NBA. It's terrible that football's ended, man.
Yeah, that's
Because we'd be screaming back and forth at each other still.
like I met you in the elevator and started talking junk.
Oh yeah, that was first interaction. Met him in an elevator. I hate the Patriots, man. One of my Patriots side or something like that. I can't stand the Patriots, dude. I'm like, why did you say that? Spouts up a bunch of reasons. Well, whatever. I'm never gonna see this guy again. 2 minutes later, walking through Dalton Hall, like, oh, there's that guy I thought I was never gonna see again. Well, let me go have an intelligent conversation with this random pedestrian, and now he's a guest on my show.
Last couple Fridays.
It can happen that quickly, ladies and gentlemen. You just never know. And you can message me through the Facebook page. Just like, hey, I can't stand any of these teams that you support or like. So could you get me on the show?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's a pretty interesting way to go about trying to get famous.
Yeah, Celtics? Nah.
No, let's tell you, you're a Lakers fan. You don't like anything that I like.
No, sir.
I could tell you that I like Captain Crunch cereal. You'd be like, no,
I like
man.
Cheerios.
I like Cheerios. That's why I enjoy Terrance, because Terrance is the opinions guy.
Yes, sir.
That's why we have Nick, because Nick's usually the guy who would come in and throw random facts. Like, oh wow, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah, and then I'm gonna start telling him about Odell Beckham and how much I can't stand Odell Beckham or something. And I'm like, okay, Nick, calm down. Your face is getting red.
Yeah, but that's his favorite receiver.
Oh yeah, it's his favorite receiver. It's his favorite.
Oh.
He's the GOAT.
He wish he was on the Oakland Raiders so he could just
Because if Odell Beckham were to go to the Raiders, like there's no real need for him to go to the Raiders. But if he were to go to Oakland Raiders, I swear, like Nick would be upset and happy at the same time. He'd be sitting there like making fun of his face, just. So Nick, what do you think about Odell Beckham? I don't really want to talk about it. You got one of the top 3 receivers in the league. I mean, he kind of, but at the same time, I mean, Amari Cooper and this and this and this. You guys traded Amari Cooper? No, what? No. Amari Cooper for Dez Bryant. Oh man, you would have overjoyed if that would have ever happened.
Yeah, I think I would love that.
When Skip Bayless was talking about how they needed to trade to get Amari Cooper, because Dez Bryant's awesome, but I mean, Amari Cooper, I don't know. I think the Cowboys are fine, however they go, honestly. So, I don't know. This is the first time this honestly happened. We've kind of, like, run out of things to talk about for this last week.
Yeah, because, I mean, it hasn't been... Because it's football. We've been talking about football so much, and now football is gone.
We're not big NBA analysts.
Yeah, I mean, I love the NBA, but it's not as much to talk about until, like, summertime.
There's not a lot going on since we just came off of the All-Star weekend.
Right.
So...
And I thought more trade... I thought, honestly... It would have been more big trades. Like I just knew somebody.
People thought that Butler was going to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Paul George was going to get traded away. There was a lot of conversation going on, and with Magic Johnson assuming the position, for the Lakers. I know you're excited about that.
I'm excited. I'm so excited to have somebody different, somebody that has something positive and really wants to do the job. And they even tried to compare Magic Johnson to Phil Jackson.
Oh yeah, like who?
That's terrible.
I think what was it? I saw something that was like, who's more likely to win a championship in like the next 3 years? And a lot of people were like the Lakers, just because Magic Johnson.
But the thing they tried to Phil Jackson never wanted that job with the Knicks. He wanted to be with the Lakers, but they screwed him. I just, in my opinion, they screwed him because they all he asked was them to wait a little bit because he just had some type of surgery or something, and they went and signed Mike D'Antoni. Mm-hmm. And so James Dolan kept throwing him money. I mean, like, look, Phil Jackson, I want you to come be front office. I'm raising the bar up for money. Phil Jackson, hey, if you're going to keep throwing money my way, hey, I'm not going to be stupid. I'm going to take it. Yeah. So, I mean, he took the job, but that's not
Phil Jackson's a great coach. General manager, so far, has not been impressive.
I mean, Porzingis, he got lucky. And Porzingis ended up being
a unicorn.
He ended up being. He knew something about Porzingis. It was like, okay.
Well, because Porzingis had played professionally overseas.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he had an idea of how good this guy was against actual like professional players. So he was a little more adapted to the NBA. At least in my idea.
And he won the skills challenge.
Mm-hmm. That was against Gordon Hayward.
Right.
That's impressive.
That's very
impressive. For a big man like that?
7'3".
Mm-hmm. And he nailed that three.
Yeah, nailed it. Like, boom. Like, and what's the name's rimmed out? Gordon Hayward's rimmed out.
Yeah.
Like,
that was pretty cool.
Because, I mean, that's crazy how, like, the NBA has changed so much to the fact that we have big men shooting threes now. It's no more like if you have...
It used to be a big man. If you're a big man, you dunk.
Yes.
Or you rebound.
And now it's like they dunk, rebound, shoot three, shoot mid-range. It's like they do everything.
Oh, yeah. Karl Anthony Towns, man.
Yeah.
That's another really talented young guy.
Yes. And I hope they put Chris Dunn into the starting lineup. Go ahead and trade off Rubio next year. This year, let him go. And start letting them get a rhythm. Let them get a...
the Timberwolves?
Yeah, for the Timberwolves. And let them
man.
Wiggins is nice.
I really like Wiggins, too.
I do, too.
He's fun to watch. Levine's going to have to come back healthy, too.
I hope so.
He tore his ACL and his MCL, I'm pretty sure.
I hope it was a clean tear so it won't, like... get...
Former dunk champion.
Right.
Speaking of the All-Star Weekend dunk contest, it was pretty
terrible.
Sad.
Right.
The only impressive dunk was, like, the last one that won the contest from the Pacers, right?
It was terrible.
It was not a very
I really
eventful.
wish like LeBron would go, Blake Griffin.
Well, like the All Stars nowadays, like the really really good players don't want to do it just because there's no point. You know what I mean?
Like
LeBron had said for a while, like years ago, that he was going to do it, and then he never did it. Kobe even did it though.
Yeah.
Vince Carter.
So I'm saying like imagine if it was LeBron, Dwight Howard. Dang, I just had the other dude on top of my mind. Levine. Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
That's great. Like in the dunk contest, like why don't y'all make it fun for the fans? Because right now,
You have to volunteer to play.
yeah, and right now, going through the NBA season, it's boring. Like, you have no until somebody gets somebody traded or something happens. We already know who's going to be in the finals.
Warriors, Cavs.
The Warriors, Cavs.
Yeah.
So we already know.
That's the thing about the NBA too, which is why like it's been tougher to watch the NBA because there's so many little things that could be changed, and as well as I'm trying to think of how I should word this. The NBA has become a lot more drama centered.
Especially the Knicks.
The Knicks, the Thunder.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook can't get over the fact that KD didn't want to play with him anymore. Pretty much. I mean,
it's about emotional feelings and this.
yeah, it's like, oh, well, the season isn't that great. We all know who's going to make it to the finals, so we got to try to make it kind of interesting outside of it. Like, they're all competitors. Russell Westbrook probably going to win MVP, that being said, but...
You think so?
Probably. Wait, he's playing right now? Ridiculous. Outside of that, though, like, it's just not impressive.
Mm-mm.
You know who's going to win. That's why the Cavs rest their starters all the time.
There you go.
Because they don't really have to work that hard to get the number one seed either.
That's why the East needs to look like the West.
They need to get revived in the East.
Yes, the East has been terrible. It's been bad for a while.
Mm-hmm.
For a while.
Yeah. The thing about the East is like LeBron is just so good.
Yeah.
If LeBron were to be a West player, it would just be the West winning it every year. But LeBron is too good to be playing in the East, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. He needs to be
For
in
as
the
long
West.
as it's a monopoly, no matter where he goes. He could go to the 76ers today, and they'd be the favorites to win the the East all over. Doesn't matter. Went to the Heat because he wanted to play with Dwayne for a few years. Did that. They won 2 championships, right? Yeah, out of 4. They went all 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. LeBron's too good to be playing the East.
I mean, you got to recognize greatness.
Yeah.
But it's just like...
He's the best player in the league.
Yeah. But I feel... let me ask you this. Do you feel like that if he went to the West that he would still go to the finals?
Not as often. Because the Warriors are just too good, too. That's just... In Sacramento... Not Sacramento. San Antonio. My bad. Don't want people to get the wrong idea. San Antonio is really good, too.
Yeah, they are.
People forget that last year that they had the second best record in the entire league behind the Warriors.
Yeah.
Who went what was the record? Like 79 and... They only lost 9 games.
73-9.
73-9, excuse me. They went 73-9. Behind them, they had won 60, 3+ games, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Pretty close to the same exact thing that the Warriors had.
Yeah, the San Antonio Spurs are no joke either.
Spurs ain't like Tim Duncan was the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was...
Well, now it's Kawhi's team.
Yeah.
It's Kawhi, LaMarcus Aldridge, Ginobili's still there. Tony Parker's still playing, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay. Basically, what used to be the Spurs is no longer the Spurs. They're older, retired, and they don't have the same effect.
It's still Popovich, though.
Yeah, most definitely. Because if you have a great coach, you're gonna do something.
Well, it's gonna be 2 minutes till 12, and one of the first ones that's happened. We haven't gone to 12, but it's probably because it's just without Nick. We miss you, Nick. Please. Hopefully you'll be listening to this tomorrow to get a recap of what happened. Gonna give Nick some crap this week because he didn't show up on the show, but it's okay. He was sick. Everybody send your well wishes over the Rines Report Facebook page. You can also find the Rines Report on YouTube. Just search up my name, Tristan Blake Rines, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. You have any little plugs or anything yet? Hopefully we might go set up Terrance with his own radio show here after spring break.
Possibly.
The idea is running around a little bit too, so. Thank you guys very much for listening. Thank you again for being on, Terrance.
No problem.
I will check the Facebook page update. I'll let you guys know whether or not we're going to have a show this upcoming Friday, considering spring break is right around the corner. So have a nice weekend, guys. Stay safe, and that'll be it.